Make it look like it.
See if you can make it look like it's going to burn your beard off. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Brad! No, don't do it. Okay. Welcome back to Boiled Egg Jesus. I'm here with my friend Brad Jersak, who's a leg end, and really want to welcome him today. He's going to share some stuff with us about how Jesus inspires him, and maybe we can talk about that. We've been learning from the Gospel of John for the last week, so I'm really excited to hear what you've got to say. So yeah.
Thanks, Tim. Glad to be here. I was thinking about how, first of all, in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus comes along and he says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me to preach good news." And I think Jesus is the good news. But in that text, he actually says, the good news will be specific to needs. So for prisoners, the good news will sound like freedom. For the poor, it will sound like, I don't know what. Your poverty is not a sign that God has left you or cursed you. It may not mean they'll win the lottery, though. For the deaf, it means they're going to hear again. For the lepers, they'll be cleansed. And so I was a youth worker for 10 years, and we began to do surveys with youth about what the good news would sound like for young people, for teenagers who are disenfranchised, marginalized, wondering about their future. And what they told me was a list of 5 things that they felt like the good news would address in their lives. And so those 5 things, very briefly, were love, joy, peace, hope, and freedom.
Yeah.
So the love was especially around relationships, because they were making that their number one value in their lives was relationships, the security of being loved, being able to love both in their families but also their peer group. And so love mattered the most to them. Joy was a big deal because they deal with issues around depression and anxiety, and it's very intense for youth these days. Peace as well. Some people have never once felt inner peace in their lives. And here's Jesus saying, you could have that for free. And people are paying a lot of money in pharmacies, clinics, street corners for a little taste of peace. And here is the Prince of Peace offering it as a grace gift, So we have love, joy, peace, hope. And that in this world, and especially this age now, it's like, is there any hope for the future? They just see the world coming undone, unraveling, and how do they fit in that? And there's even cynicism about whether they should have kids, or who would want to grow up in this world. And yet Jesus comes along and he says there's actually real hope, and that he's our hope, and that knowing him means not always that circumstances will change, but how we relate to those circumstances. For example, they would say, well, maybe my boyfriend will break up with me, but I can relate to that breakup differently. It won't define me. And my past won't determine my future. Jesus is actually going to lead me into my future. And then finally, freedom. And we heard especially freedom from fear. And it seems like fear is real leverage in our lives these days. And what if you could live above fear and beyond fear and become, is there anything you wouldn't try that God would call you to if he were to set you free of fear? So the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord was on Jesus to set young people upon a path of love, joy, peace, hope, and freedom. That, to me, that's very inspiring.
Oh, yeah.
Such good news, really.
Amazing news. And I hope you're inspired by that. We're going to unpack this over the next few weeks just to say, how is Jesus love? How does he inspire us in that? How is he hope? How is he freedom? How is he, how does he set us free from fear? And just hope you're inspired by that. We'll see you again next time on Boiled Egg Jesus.